State Senator Ed Gaunch, Republican, Kanawha County. Senator, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Hoppy. I'm good. How about you?
I'm well, thank you. I appreciate that. So, here's the background story on the website by Jeff Jenkins. The state's gasoline tax would go up by 4.5 cents a gallon, and the annual DMV vehicle registration fee would cost $20 more in a bill that passed the Senate Transportation and Infrastructure Committee on Tuesday. It's Senate Bill 477, introduced on behalf of the governor. The governor initially proposed a 10-cent per gallon increase, but he cut that back to 4.5 cents and changed the bill to keep the DMV vehicle registration from the current $30 up to $50, but also says legislation says the fees could be increased every 5 years according to federal pricing index. But the big story there is the gasoline tax. Current gasoline tax is 20.5 cents a gallon. There's also a wholesale tax on that, 20.5 cents a gallon. This would increase it to 25 cents a gallon. All this for the roads in West Virginia. Senator, you support this. Why?
Hoppy, it'd be hard to describe me as somebody who wants to raise taxes or fees, but it comes down to roads. I had a call on the way into the Capitol this morning at 7:30, and a lady from Putnam County was telling me that the school bus can't get in Scott Depot, can't get to pick up the children because the road is collapsed. It's a one-lane road to start with. I have those calls, believe me, every day. Roads are important to the people of West Virginia. In the last 3 years, even though I despise raising taxes or fees, it occurs to me the only way we're going to get roads improved in West Virginia, and by the way, they're moving in the other direction. Our bridges, we're now fifth in the country in terms of how bad our bridges are. I'm seeing signs put up about weight limits on our bridges. I don't know if it's going to take another catastrophe, but somehow we have to find some money to fix our roads. And that's what this bill does. And frankly, it's something we can agree with the governor on, I believe. Although I've been on sponsored bills the last 2 years to do similar things that never got passed. I don't know that this one will get passed, but we have to make a move to fix our roads, and we're moving in the wrong direction.
Senator, do you believe that those same people who call you daily and complain about the roads will accept a 4.5 cent increase in the gas? Will they accept higher gasoline prices?
Hoppy, that remains to be seen, but I'm convinced that the gas tax alone raises about $45 million, and the entire bill will raise $131 million, fix a lot of potholes, fix a lot of slides, maybe build some new roads, but mostly this is for maintenance, and that's what we need the worst.
Well, let's take it, and I want to get back to the governor's plan in a moment, but let me first ask you about what some of your cohorts have said. There was a statement by, let me see here, like Louis Southworth, who was representing the retailers. He said Virginia's gasoline tax is going to be 20 cents less than West Virginia's if you pass this. Ohio, 8 cents less. Kentucky, 10 cents less. Maryland, 3 cents less. Only Pennsylvania would be more. State Senator Patricia Rucker from Jefferson County, right next to Maryland and Virginia. She said, I can drive literally 2.5 miles to the nearest gas station in Virginia and save myself about 35 cents a gallon. Yes, I will do that any chance I get. How legitimate are those concerns? We have a lot of border communities that people will, except when it's Pennsylvania, simply drive a few miles to save a few bucks.
Yeah, well, I think they're real, and I firsthand I can tell you, anytime I'm going or coming from the south, I always stop in Whitfield and fill up my tank. I'm no different from anybody else. But what people need to understand in West Virginia is we have no county roads. A number of years ago, the state took over all of those so-called orphan roads, which included county roads. In many of those jurisdictions, especially Ohio, there are local taxes and local fees and local referendums for the local governments to fix our roads. In West Virginia, we are the road builders. That's the state. There are a few municipal streets and highways, but almost everything else is a state road. And that's why we've got to have additional dollars to fix us, unless we decide we want to give them back to the counties, and then that'll never happen. And if it did, would be faced with the counties have to impose some kind of taxes. So what I'd like to do here is just bite the bullet. Yeah, it's going to be unpopular. It's another 4.5 cents a gallon, but it's either that or the school buses can't get to pick up the children.
Senator Ed Gaunch is with us, a Republican from Kanawha County, supporting a plan to raise the gasoline tax from the current 20.5 cents a gallon to 25 cents a gallon. And then you add on to that the federal tax, and then you add on to that the wholesale tax in West Virginia, which right now is about 3 cents a gallon. That would drive that up a little bit. Okay, let's get, Senator, to how this might work, because what the governor wants to do, as you know, what the governor wants to do is raise the gasoline tax, and he would settle for 4.5 cents, raise the DMV fees from $30 to $50, and also raise the tolls on the turnpike from $2 to $4, but give West Virginians, if they pay $8, they could have a pass for that year and have unlimited travel. Really, anybody could buy that $8 pass. He wants to first pass all of this. And then when you're going to borrow money, you have to go to the people and get approval. You have to get a bond approved by the people. So he wants the legislature to pass all this first and then send it out for a vote. Are you okay with that? Or do you want to tie the bonding to the legislation so that the people would vote on it before these increases would go into effect?
Well, we are in a little bit of a disagreement with the governor on that. What he would like to do is raise, I think it was $2.6 billion.
Right.
I have some concerns with that. I mean, obviously that would build a huge amount of roads. First of all, I question, do we have the wherewithal to do that much work? And how quickly would it have to go to bid and be built to comply with the terms of any bond issue that we might have? So that's secondary. This bill before me today, 477, does just what you laid out. It does increase the gas tax, the DMV fees. It would raise $131 million. I'm going to be for that regardless. But when we start talking about the other revenue measures, yes, I'm all for the people having a say in that. I don't know how you can give everybody in the state an easy pass for $8 without offering that also under the terms of the bond that we currently have in place. I believe the federal law makes us also offer that to out-of-state people. I don't know how you get around that.
Yeah, I think you have to, probably.
All those things need to be worked out. And can we do $2.6 billion worth of highway work? I'm not sure, especially if we have to do it within 3 to 5 years. I think that would put a strain on the industry.
And actually be, pushing, money out there that might not be wisely used, or you just
it's kind of like, it's kind of like
a stimulus or something.
Obama's shovel-ready jobs. You have to be careful and make sure that you really have the jobs that can be done. I mean, if we could do it over 10 or 15 years, I would love it. And if the people vote for it, then I could get behind that.
Senator Ed Gaunch is with us, Republican, Kanawha County. Senator, this also could be used as strategy or leverage, because clearly the governor wants this, and you guys can work out how exactly you do it. But you all also want to cut the budget. He doesn't. I mean, to me, that is a compromise point. Okay, we're going to cut the budget. I'm saying Republicans. Republicans are going to cut the budget. Governor, you're hesitant to cut the budget, but you really want this highway plan. So is that a place where there could be some common ground?
Well, I get up every morning hoping I can get along with the governor. I've met with him a time or two, and my goal is to be friendly with him. And obviously you get a lot more done working together than going in different directions. But I just like to take a little exception with what you say.
Okay.
Actually, what we've said is we want to spend the amount of money that we take in. That shouldn't be a hard concept for people at home to understand. Whatever your income is, that's what you have to spend. The governor wants to raise taxes, $450 million. And that's, the legislature, who has pretty much equal say in the two houses, the bicameral legislature, has a say in that. And there's not, I don't sense here that folks are interested in raising taxes $450 million to accommodate some of the things the governor wants to do. So I hope we can find middle ground. I'm excited about the potential for tax reform. I think that we can do some really meaningful changes if we reform our tax system, take this opportunity to do that. If we time it properly, I think we can backfill some of the money the governor wants to spend, maybe even bring us back to what we're spending today. And by the way, this year, this current fiscal year we're in, we're spending $200 million, give or take, more than the governor says we're going to receive in income. So we're already underwater, and I believe his plan would put us more underwater unless we raise those taxes $450 million, which I don't think there's a heart in this building to do.
Senator Ed Gaunch, Republican, Kanawha County. Senator, good to speak with you. Thank you for your time. Take good care.
Always a pleasure, Hoppy.
Thank you very much. We'll be right back.